y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. This is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews, and today we are reviewing The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. It's on Hulu, and we are sipping on Kahlua and Bailey's, and also my yearly bag of Halloween candy that I eat all of over the course of 6 months. Yes. How y'all doing? This movie made me cry, y'all. Like, I knew it was gonna be some Black woman magical shit and it was gonna make me sick, and I was sobbing. It took me on a roller coaster. Now I want to read. There's 2 books, and so this is based off the first book, Earl's All You Can Eat, and then the second book, The Supremes Sing the Happy Heartache Blues, a novel. And so this is based off the first book, and so I'm going to be reading both books now at this point. But no, like, this is a really good movie, and I probably will not be watching it again just because it's emotional. Then it's funny because I said I'm going to read the book, but like, I just want to know, like, what I missed. What did I miss? But after that, I'm probably not going to read the book again. I'm probably not going to watch because it's just emotional. Like, I was sobbing. And I really feel like these 3 bitches are witches. Like, they are witches. They got mad. This is a coven. This is a black coven. They are brujeria. They are voodoo priestesses. Hoodoo priests. There's something. And, you know, it's just a magical story. And let's get into it. So, this movie is about 3 women, and they've been best friends since high school, right? There's Clarice. She was born to a people-pleasing mother, so she became a people pleaser. There is Odetta. She was born to, like, the strongest Black woman that you can ever think of. And she became one of the strongest Black women that you could ever think of. But, like, there was still some self-esteem issues as far as her believing in herself. And then, what's her name? Barbara Jean. So Barbara Jean is born to a woman who is a stripper. She doesn't know who her father is. It's between 4 niggas. And she also has an alcoholism problem, which Barbara Jean inherited. And you can inherit, like, the gene for alcoholism from your parent. If your parents an alcoholism, it's like epigenetics and stuff. So you pass down the trait of your addiction through your DNA to your child and stuff. And so that's why, like, it can be very easy for a child of an addict to become an addict, because it might be coded into their DNA. It might not. It just depends. It depends. And so basically, like, she became an alcoholic and, like, didn't like herself and all this other stuff. So Clarice and Odetta are already friends, right? And we add Barbara Jean into it one day when Barbara Jean's mother dies, and, like, Odetta's a bad bitch. Like, Odetta's mom tells Odetta to go over to Barbara Jean's house and give her some fried chicken because her mom just died, right? And, like, Clarice doesn't want to go. Clarice is snooty, snotty. I am better than everybody, and I don't want to go over there to the ghetto to the stripper's child's house and da. But, you know, like, Clarice, Odetta's mom cusses Clarice out basically and gets in her face. And the mom is an actress. I don't know. The young Odetta and Odetta's mom look exactly alike. I don't know if they're sisters or what, but they look exactly alike. And so, like, she's like, you can either go to her house and give her that chicken, or you can go the fuck home, Odetta. And Odetta's just like, oh, you know, I'll go to the house and give her the chicken. Yes, your wig looks pretty. I was like, girl, shut up. So they go to Barbara Jean's house, right? And Barbara Jean is this little it's the bitch from Sabrina's the Teenage Witch. It's the black girl that played the witch. And that's why I was just like, they're witches. This is a coven. They have magical powers. It's beautiful. I don't care what you're talking about. They are. And this evil, nasty, her stepdad opens the door just looking evil and nasty, and he played this part so well. He's one of them niggas that when you play one of them parts that are just so well, it's hard to envision them in any other parts. drunk and gross, opens the door, and then Barbara Jean comes to the door, and he got his hands all up a grazing on this bitch, and I was just like itchy and it's gross. No, like I've been upset all week. If you watch this, you know I go on tangents, so I don't know what you expect. No, first that like ginger nigga from Great Britain and shit over here crashing out talking about I hate black women and why would I be with a black woman when my mom fucked me over. Like every black woman isn't your mom, and that's why I try hard every day not to hate niggas, because I'm not going to be like that nigga. I'm not going to be like that nigga crashing out over niggas thinking every nigga is the same nigga. I refuse to be that nigga. That's why I try hard every day, because like I know it's hard out here in the world when you dealing with cis heterosexual men, but I refuse to believe every single one of them is evil. I can't, because if I do, I'm gonna be like that ginger nigga only about niggas, and I just don't feel like it. But like no, it's just like I saw this TikTok video and this girl did a commentary on it, and she just crashed the hell out and was like, leave black women alone. If you don't like black women, keep our name out of your mouth, leave us the fuck alone. And I felt it in my spirit, so I'm writing off that, right? And then I go to Disneyland on Wednesday, and I am inebriated most of the time when I go to Disneyland. I am not aware, just because it's a sensory overload. I'm literally just there for the rides. Like the sensory overload is me standing in lines and me being a tall black woman and feeling the energy of all these Trumpy white people either glaring at me, grazing me weird. One time I was walking to a ride and some white woman in my periphery just yells Trump in my face, and because I was just so inebriated, I just kept walking. I just was like, no, because if you start some shit at Disneyland and you don't have concrete evidence that the other person started that shit, then what happens is they kick you out of Disneyland and you don't get to go to any of the Disneylands, and you're not stopping me from going to Tokyo Disney. You're not stopping me from going. I'm going to, I don't care about Paris Disney. I don't care about any of the Disneys. I want to go to Tokyo motherfucking Disney. You're not going to stop me from doing that. And they kick you out of all the Disneys. It's all incorporated. So I'm in line for the Alice in Wonderland ride on Wednesday, and like the line's moving pretty decently fast. It's like a 15-minute line, right? And like, you know when like you're standing in line and niggas, right? And you can see it. My peripheries are sharp. They're on point. Most time you won't know that they're on point, but they're on point. I see this motherfucker. I don't know at the time that he's a little 15-year-old white boy. I just see a nigga, right? A man. And so like I see him just scooting closer to me, right? And so I'm facing this way, so then I have to turn to my side just to let him know I can see you, nigga. But I knew the touching was gonna happen. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew it was gonna fucking happen. And I felt this build up in my spirit, because I was just like, how am I gonna handle it when he touches me? Because if I yell at this motherfucker or say anything, they're going to crash the hell out and be like, what do you mean? The line is tight. It was an accident. I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't want to, because all I can say to that is, I saw you getting closer to me and you touched me, when the touch is like a graze. So you can easily say that it was an accident, but I know that it's not an accident. Bitches out there that have been through this know what I'm talking about. So every time I move forward, he moves closer. Every time and so eventually I move forward, and this nasty motherfucker, and he like hit my thigh with his thigh, and it was very unnecessarily, right? Like it was obviously on purpose, and it was dry and crusty and gross. It felt like sandpaper was touching me, and like I think it was all my female ancestors came up out of me, and I turned to this little motherfucker and I hissed at this nigga. And I just turned back around and shit, like. And so like before this, I don't make eye contact with anybody especially when I'm at Disneyland, because niggas. And so like before that happened, I'm looking around at the line to see it moving, to see how fast it's moving, and I glance at his dad, because he's there with his parents. Okay, this is a little 15-year-old. He's there with his parents, and his dad looks at me and smirks and shit, right? So I knew there was going to be no help from that corner. He's a fucking asshole. This is where this little nigga gets it from, right? And so, like, this little nigga grazes me, then gonna smirk and be like, sorry. And I turned and I hissed at this bitch. And then I turn back around and I see out of my peripheries that his mother just quietly moves him behind her and stands in front of him. And I was just like, so why aren't you watching why didn't you see, you're a bitch too, girl. Why didn't you see what he was doing ahead of time and catch his little ass and watch your kids? Why, okay, you know what? And so, like, I think this older white man saw me hiss at this little nigga, and I wasn't paying attention because I just wanted the line to move, right? And so this older white man, while I'm trying to move through the line, gonna nudge my fucking arm on purpose and be like, sorry. And I just frowned and I just kept going. I just kept going because I'm tired. I am. And now I'm just like, I go to Disneyland in the morning when it first opens, and I have learned to I need to leave it by noon, because that's when all the racist white devils start walking into that motherfucker and bothering people with their negative energy and making the nicest, happiest, supposedly place on earth a most horriblest experience unless you're actually on the ride. Girl. So, like, when I saw this scene in this movie, I felt the vindication, the righteous justice in my soul. I really wanted her to hit him in the face. One time. Anyway, so they go to Barbara Jean's house and sees this nasty nigga grazing and touching on her shoulder and shit. And then Odetta looks at this motherfucker and is like, if you don't get your hand off her, I'm gonna break it. And he's like, I know who you are. And apparently, like, she was born because her mom went to a witch because she was 10 months pregnant. She was tired of having a baby in her. So she went to a witch. See, I'm telling you, these are witches. She went to a witch, and the witch told her that, like, to have the baby, you have to choose whether the baby is going to be born from destiny or fate. So destiny means that, like, there's multiple paths to go down, and fate, there's only one path that you can go down. And so mom thought it sounded the same to her, so she let the witch choose. And so the witch told her that she had to climb a sycamore tree and have the baby in a tree, right? And so she climbed the sycamore tree and had the baby in a tree. And now, like, this nigga's like, oh, you're that crazy girl who was born in a tree and shit, right? And so she like, yep. And then she took her dress off and put her dukes up and was like, my daddy was a world champion boxer, nigga, and he taught me some tricks, so you gonna hit me with that belt, nigga? And he was just looking at her scared. And I was like, yes, these cowardly ass niggas. All you need to do is know how to fight. All you need to do is know how to fight. And as long as they don't have a gun, you have a chance. If they have a gun, girl, like, this ain't the Matrix. You ain't faster than a bullet. You don't have to, like, you might have to take an L just to survive. But if they ain't got a gun, if you know some martial arts and shit, you can kick a knife out of a nigga's hand, girl. Like, I don't. You a black belt in some shit, you can kick a knife out of a nigga's hand. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, she put her dukes up ready to fight this motherfucker. And then, like, he just stood there. And she was like, hit me with the belt, nigga. And he was shook. I was just like, yes, these niggas are cowards. You just have to know how to fight. Just like when I hissed at that little boy, and his whole family was scared of me after that. They put him behind them. And I was like, yes, you should have did that earlier. You should have clocked what he was doing, and you should have did that motherfucking earlier. But instead, I had to come up out of my spirit to show you that he was making me uncomfortable. And I didn't want to do that because I was having a good time at Disneyland, and now you're like low key ruining my day. You're high key ruining my. See, I'm still thinking about it into this week. So they take Barbara Jean to their little spot, Earl's All You Can Eat, right? It's like an all you can eat soul food spot and shit, like, and like, Odetta is supposed to meet up with this dude there. What's her name? Caroline? Celeste, whatever her name is. The other one already has a dude. His name is Richmond. He's a piece of shit. We'll get to him in a little bit. But Odetta is supposed to meet up with this dude there called James. She's met him before, and like, she don't know like what's going on with him. Like, he's quiet. He just be staring at her. He don't know what to say. So apparently James has anxiety. and he's a sweetheart. He has anxiety, and he's just so enamored by Odette, and she can't comprehend that he's enamored by her. So this time she like goes out to the car, what's her name, Celeste, Claudia, gives him a scarf and tells him, can he go put it in the car? And so Odette follows him out to the car and it's like, nigga, what's wrong with you? Why you keep staring at me like I got two heads and shit? What's wrong with you? Like, you can stare at something else. And he was just like, I want to stare at you though. And I was like, I know you too, nigga. No, James is a sweetheart. Like, everyone needs a James. He just needs like hobbies outside of Odette. Because no, you can't have niggas that the only thing that they have in life is you. No one can live with just one hobby. Because what'll happen is over time they will start to resent you, especially when you're a strong woman like that. And apparently in the second book, like in the synopsis, it says that James over time just grows and develops this deep anger, and Odette doesn't know why. And I feel like it's because James don't have hobbies outside of Odette and hasn't been able to form a personality outside of Odette. And so basically James tells her that he's liked her since they were 12 when she fought some bullies for him and protected him and shit like that. So he sees her, he's pedestalized her since he was 12, and that's his guiding light. And I just feel like it's beautiful. I want to be loved down because he loves her down, but I need to be loved down by a nigga that loves himself. And has hobbies outside of me, because you're not gonna resent me and silently start to grow hate towards me because like you don't have anything else outside of me. That's just fucking weird. You need to have a hobby. Where are your friends, James? Outside of Richmond, who cheats on his wife all the time, where are your friends, James? Like, the only time we see the niggas is when they're with the wives, because the story is about the women, right? But like, no, like, you know, he needs hobbies and shit. He needs some other shit. So anyways, Odette is all like, you know, oh, he liked me and shit. Da, 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 da. And so they go back into the little diner situation. And then, what's her name? Claudia? Her cousin starts talking shit about Barbara Jean and how she like was born in a strip club and her mom was drunk and all this other shit. So Richmond... It's interesting because at the end of the movie, Odette tells Richmond that she sees good in him. He needs to see that shit in himself. And he's like, do you really think I'm a good man? There's a good man in there. And I'm like, nigga, you wouldn't have got your wife if there wasn't a good man in there, because that's all she was looking at. She wasn't paying attention to the bad parts. That's why she ended up in the situation. She was looking at your potential. She wasn't looking at the bad part. So yes, there's a good man in there, but you choose not to embrace that good man consistently. You choose to get triggered by some shit, or you get hangry, or you get uncomfortable emotionally, and you do some fuck shit and you cheat on her. So I don't know what... Like I said in my last video or the video before that, like, potential don't mean nothing. It's like a puzzle piece. The puzzle piece is at your feet. If you don't choose, and each person has to put the puzzle pieces together by themselves. You can have people around you supporting you putting those puzzle pieces together, but like, you have to do it yourself. And if you choose not to put that puzzle pieces of potential together, then it's just trash at your feet. Potential don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing because you don't want to put it together. You don't want to, so like, it's pointless. So no, Richmond's just trash. He doesn't want to put his puzzle pieces together. He doesn't believe that he's a good man. There's no mention of him going to therapy, at least in the movie. So I don't know what you, right. So anyways, Barbara Jean decides that she's going to leave the restaurant. And before she does that, so Earl is the owner of the restaurant, Big Earl. He's the owner of the restaurant when they're teenagers, right? And so he's like, he kind of puts them together. He was like the first person to like put them together, kind of, because basically Odette tells Earl that he don't like the way Barbara Jean's stepdaddy be touching on her and shit. She don't want her going back to that house. So what happens is that he decides to take Barbara Jean in because they have a spare room because their daughter went off to college or whatever, right? And Barbara Jean is just like, oh my gosh, no one's ever been this nice to me before. And then that's how they become best friends. And so like, we skip ahead to like 1999, right? And they're older now. And like, Big Earl has died. He has died on his knees while in prayer. And his second wife, because his first wife died, his second wife, Minnie, who was like a showgirl or some shit, she's like into tarot cards and all this other mystical shit, but she's like kind of like, she got some kind of narcissistic tendencies where she like to make shit about her and stuff, and it's annoying and it's weird. She's sitting up there like, first of all, this nigga died in prayer at nighttime. She knew he was dead, but then decided to like sleep in the bed next to the dead body instead of calling the police and the coroner to come. And that was fucking weird and shit like that. And then we find out that Barbara Jean is married to a grandfather. and later on we find out like literally Barbara Jean like ended up with this old ass. No, it's gross. I don't care. Like, he ends up dying and I wasn't upset at all. I was just like, she's free. No, I don't care. Like, yeah, like it just felt like some old nigga wanted a trophy wife, a young bitch, and yeah, he took care of her and he loved on her, whatever the fuck, and he took care of her like she was a child. And I was just like, you kind of kept her childish though. You took care of her like a father. Because that's kind of like you are basically like this nigga looked like he was 80. Like, what's Sanaa Lathan, like in her 50s? This nigga looks like he's pushing 80. And every time he touched her, I was just like, ew. I can't. No, I went to this event today and like I was sitting. I got there early, so I decided to just like sit and like I turned my phone down and I was watching this like Korean drama and reading the little subtitles and shit while I was doing it. I had the unluckiness to sit next to this nigga, right, that was talking to these young little girls, and they were like, I'm a freshman in college and I'm a sophomore in college. This nigga was like, I'm a grad student. So like he looked like he could be either pushing 30 or in his 30s. They looked 18, 19, and the way this nigga was just like, it was like they were like film students or some shit, right? He was just like, I could get you on sets and shit. Like, I'm on a set right now, but I can't get you on my set though. But I could hit you up and let you know if there's any, because we're black people and we gotta stick together. And I was just sitting here like, I hope these young girls are aware of the bullshit that this nigga is spewing, and they're just nodding and smiling just to, hurry up and have him shut up. But no, they were like engaged in what he was saying, and like they were talking about their fast food, how they don't have any money, and la 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 la. And as soon as they were talking about how they didn't have any money and shit, he was just like, oh well, you gotta figure it out. And I was just like, oh God, what's going on? Like, why are you old niggas? And I understood it because like young girls that haven't experienced niggas bullshit, they think it's the truth. That's why they go after these young bitches. And also because they want to control and father a fucking young bitch so they can feel like on top of the world or some shit. I don't know. It makes them feel high and mighty and shit. And I was just sitting there like laughing to myself because he was saying the stupidest shit. And I was just like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was just praying that these young girls could see through the bullshit, because I was just, and then like it was funny because like some friends of theirs came and they were talking back and forth, and as soon as the friends came, and the friends actually know like real people in the industry or some shit, and this nigga just the way the tone of his voice just went like, oh, like I was like, yeah, nigga, like how you gonna finesse this? But then the friends turned out to be freshmen too, and I was just like, oh shit. And then he started like finessing all of them, and I was just like, oh fuck, like what's going on? Like why? No, like I don't need to, destroy a young person's developmental period with my grown person shenanigans to feel young. I go to Disneyland, I watch anime, I go hiking, I travel, I do young shit that I like, that I either wanted to do when I was younger and couldn't afford to do, or that I did when I was younger. Like I watched cartoons and shit. Like I don't need to like have some young person looking up to me that's not my child to make me feel important or superior. I don't need to be teaching some young person basic shit like how to trade stocks and how to save money, and I know this person and that person. Like I don't need to do that to feel good in myself. Like these niggas need that to feel superior, and it's gross. Like you need somebody but so far beneath you to make you feel on top of the world, and you can't make yourself feel on top of the world. That's disgusting and gross, and I don't. So I was not upset when Lester died. I was not. But anyway, so like Lester ends up dying at the repast. So what happened was they're all getting ready for the repast, and James is so cute. He goes up to Odette. He's like, "You know, I love you in that gown, but we have to get ready for the repast." And I was like, "Yes, I know you love her in that gown, James. I just need him to have hobbies so she doesn't have to deal with the brunt of his resentments, because the second book sounds like there's resentment, and I just God, no, these are the type of niggas, these anxious people pleaser niggas that will be mad about something but won't say anything, and you just have to like decipher from their body language that they're upset about some shit and then act accordingly. I don't know, like, because they won't say how they need, like, what do you need me to do to help you with this, like, how do they just push it down and push it, and then one day they just like, then you end up divorced out of nowhere or some stupid shit, like, you know, like they just are, you find out they've been cheating with some 20-year-old because they can feel young again. It's like some stupid shit. Like, I don't have it for you. I just need you to have a personality outside of me, and also, like, you know, love on me and shit, love me down. It's possible to have all of it. It is, if you want it and you're willing to work together for it. And if you don't want to work together for it, don't come over here. Leave me alone. And so anyways, like, we find out Barbara Jean is also struggling with alcoholism. Like, she's still like, you know, like when she gets sad, when she gets overwhelmed, she struggles with alcoholism and stuff. And so she's been on the wagon, and like she was upset that Earl died, and she almost took like a sip of alcohol, but then like she stopped herself, so that was good. And then, you know, her grandfather I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care. Her grandfather comes in and gives her a pat on the head and like, and lifts her chin and is like, "My little baby child, it's okay. You're not broken. You're a na-na-na." And I'm just like, ew, it's disgusting. Ew, he's just so wrinkly. I don't want it. I just want a nigga that's my age. I just want a nigga that is my motherfucking age. Like, we've been through the same decades together. We know stuff together, and all, like, why not? So anyways, we get into this motherfucking repast, and there's this like light, this they're talking shit about the second wife and shit, and then there's this weird ass statue with this flickering light bulb, right? And she's like, Barbara Jean was like, my head hurts looking at that light and shit, like, you know. And then, you know, her grandfather goes, he's like, "I'll fix the light." I was like, oh God, I felt the foreshadowing. I felt like he was about to die, and I was just like, yes. She will be free in the world, to be free, just to be free from this, to grow and not be baby like a fucking child by this grown ass man who wants her as a trophy fucking wife. I don't care. He helped her. He was there for her. He supported her and her alcoholism like he supported her like a grandfather should. Like, we'll say a father, because Sonali Lathan's in her 50s. She just looks really young. He supported her like a father should. Like, ew, disgusting. I don't care. I'm judging. It's disgusting. And so he goes to fix the light, and then there's an electrical surge, and this nigga dies, and she just fucking collapses to the floor. They're holding on to her. She's crying, and they're just like, Lester, Chester, the molester. Then we do like a flashback to her meeting like Chester, Lester. And she's like all of looking like, I'm guessing she's like 18, 19, and he's 40. Why would you, like, what do you have to talk about with a fucking 18, 19-year-old? Like, when I was sitting at the event today and I was listening to these young people talk, and they just sounded like young people, like they didn't know nothing, and like they were falling for everything this nigga was saying, this okey doke and shit. And I was just like, please God, don't let. And I was just like, was I like that when I was 18? And I was like, yes, I would have been sitting up here waiting for this nigga to text me, and I'll be telling all my friends, I met someone that's in, this nigga's probably a PA. I met someone that's in the industry and he works on sets and he's gonna call me and he's gonna give me information and da da da. And that nigga's probably never going to text them, and if they text him, he's gonna try to finesse it into fucking. We've been there, we've done that, we know what it is. Like, and so I was just like, ew, this nigga is gross. And he's like looking at her all admiringly, like that's his child. And I was just like, this is fucking disgusting. And then they hired this little white boy at the diner, right? So like, no, and the weird part was too, like, how he's introduced, like, when she's young, is he's standing next to his new Cadillac and he's asked her to go to the movies with him because he got his new Cadillac, right? And it just made me think of like them stories about how like these niggas would pick high school girls up from school in their rusty crusty Cadillacs and shit, and like these little 15-year-olds thought they had a boyfriend who was 25 when really they were being molested, right? It made me think of that, those R. Kelly stories of him picking up little kids from school. And I'm just like, that's why you can't date these young people, because they haven't had the experience of lying, cheating niggas. And if they have had enough of these experiences as young people, they're cutthroat bitches. They're gonna steal your money. Like, they'll pretend like they like you, love. And I hope they take you, because why are you fucking around with a young bitch like that young? He's 40, she's like 18, 19. Why are you fucking around? I hope they take you for everything you fucking have, you dirty motherfucker. So the ones that know that are that young, that have been through a bunch of shit by the time they're in their early 20s and shit, they're going to take you for everything you fucking have. They know enough to take you for everything. But the ones that don't know, they're just going to like, oh, he's going to call me and he's going to get me in the industry and la 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 la. I was just like, nigga, I don't have it. I didn't have it. I was just chuckling the whole time I was sitting there. I got there like maybe an hour early or some shit. I don't know. And I was just sitting there watching my little K-drama. It's called Kingsland. It's so good. So good. And I was just like, oh God, where are the adults that will shepherd these children into the light and away from this darkness? Because nigga is sitting right behind me, right? So if I try to like look at these little girls and give them the eye, or if I try to just whisper anything to these little girls, this nigga was on my back like that, talking to these little girls, and I had to lean forward in my chair like this to watch, because he was just on, and I don't like that. I don't like that. And so I was just like, oh God, the disgustingness of it all. Like, why? I know why, because you are a little child inside and you want to feel superior to children because you don't feel grown enough to be around adults, because you've been stagnated in your sad, miserable world of a life. So anyways, they had this little white boy that works at the diner now, and you know, like, Barbara Jean likes him. Like, she introduced herself to him, everything. His brother is alcoholic and a racist and abuses him and shit like that, and likes to try to run little black kids over in his truck because he's crazy, and nobody does anything because it's the 1960s and they're not going to do anything if he kills a little black boy. The horrible white world we live in. Anyways, so she goes into, like, she makes eye contact with him, and this little girl is a good ass actress, because you could tell, like, she made the eyes at him in a way where you could tell, like, she just saw her soulmate. She just saw her kindred spirit. She just saw somebody that reminded her of herself. And that's a rare experience to have, right? So she like looks at him, and then like she excuses herself to go to the bathroom while she's at Earl's, and like goes into the little space he has. So Earl has him staying there because his brother had him living in a chicken coop and he was beating the shit out of him all the time. So Earl let him stay there, right? So she goes in there, and then they start doing like trauma comparisons and shit, or some shit, and showing each other's scars. Like she's showing her the scars. Apparently her mom used to physically abuse her and shit like that, and so she's showing him her scars, he's showing her his scars, and like they become friends, and she like hangs out with him at nighttime and has conversations, but they don't like have sex or anything up to a certain point. And at all this time, Lester is like hanging around in the background of her life, still trying to date her. Just, oh God, I don't care. No, black women, we deserve so much more. Everybody deserves a James, but a James that loves himself. Like this James, you can tell that his whole life is Odette, and that is unhealthy. Because, like I said, in the second book, there's this. In the summary, it's like this, oh, James is angry, but Odette doesn't know why James is angry. And I'm just so excited to get to the second book, because now I'm just like, why is James angry? Am I right? Is he resentful? Is he mad because he never formed hot? Like, do you golf, James? Do niggas like to golf? Do you fish? Niggas, I found out that niggas fish, and it reacts to them in the same way that meditation reacts to us. Like, it's like going to the spa for them. Like it's mindfulness for their nervous system and shit. So it's a vibe. Do you play with Legos, video games? What do you have hobbies, James, outside of Odette and maybe your kids? Like what do you do to fulfill yourself, James? Because I just feel like the second book is telling me that he was basically a ticking time bomb, and it kind of ruined the romance for me in the movie, because I was just like, look at how he's showing up for her and how he cares about her and how he's taking care of her. But what I just kept noticing was like, there was nothing else outside of her and things like that. And then also we find out that Clarice, her name is Clarice. We find out that Clarice has decided to give up her dream of being a concert pianist, because that's what she likes to do. Like she's doing like concertos and shit all over and having a good time, and she's got a record deal to go to New York and shit, but she's giving that up because she wants to have a family with Richmond, who cheats on her, who Odette is telling her that he cheats on her. And if you have eyes, you see, but you want that family so bad that you're willing to overlook the trash and just focus on the broken puzzle pieces on the ground. And maybe if I help him put the puzzle pieces together, he'll be a better bitch. And no, love. Absolutely not, love. Absolutely the fuck not, bitch. And so she was just like, but the family is my masterpiece. And I just, like, and they're just trying to tell her, like, you can have the family and still, and she was like, but Richmond will be traveling for football, and I'll be traveling, and I can't raise kids that way. And I mean, this girl is in her early 20s. Like, she could spend her whole 20s building up her brand, making money, and then in her 30s get married and have kids and shit. You can still have babies in your 30s. I'm tired. Because it's upsetting. She could have, this could have been happening. They could have been having brunch in a penthouse in New York, in her penthouse, bitch, in her mansion with her 5 kids she decided to have in her 30s, with her rich ass nice husband that takes care of her and loves on her, but also has his own hobbies and things like that, so he doesn't grow resentment for her because he's not a people pleaser. Yes. What? You have to have a balance. So they're just like, okay, girl, like, we think you're making a bad decision, but like, you want the family life and whatever the fuck, we'll ride with it, whatever. Like, and this is a type of, like, that's why I always say, like, I'm not looking for perfection in friendships or romantic relationships. What I'm looking for is lack of betrayal. So this type of shit, like being with a friend that like picks the wrong nigga and shit, or being with a friend that is alcoholic and shit, like, I can deal with to a certain level. I might have to set specific boundaries around certain things depending on how bad it gets, but like, I can see the goodness inside of you and see that like, you're not gonna try to harm me, but because you've never done anything to harm anybody. You harmed yourself though, so like, that still gives me like a little pushback. Like, I'm still gonna keep a certain emotional distance, but it's not gonna be, oh, I'm never hanging out with you because like, you don't know how to pick niggas and shit. Like, no, like, there's levels to this shit. So anyways, like Clarice goes back inside, Odette goes back inside, they start dancing, and then Barbara Jean is dancing with Chester the molester. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care how much this nigga was there for her. Like, I feel like him basically being like a father figure, like, stunted her growth emotionally. Like, and she sees like how Odette and Clarice are up on they niggas and how they're happy with these young niggas that are their age, and she looking at Chester the molester like, I don't even like you like that, nigga. Like, and so she sneaks off to go back in the back with the little white boy Ray, and like they end up fucking and shit, like, and it's like a whole experience for her, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing and wonderful and blah 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 blah. And then on the other side of town, like the next day or whatever, they don't have timeline, whatever. James and Odette are like shooting, right? Like, I hate guns because I'm too clumsy. I am too clumsy. I don't mind watching a nigga shoot a gun though. You know, I like good forearms and hands. That's what I'm mainly looking at when niggas are shooting guns and shit, and they biceps and how they be moving when I be like, wow, you're amazing at that, you know, like you know what you're doing. Yes, you do with that gun. What else can you shoot? But I don't want to shoot a gun. I don't want to hold a gun. Like, I went to the gun range one time and it was an experience, but like that shit scares the shit out of me. Like, this could literally, if I drop it, it could kill me immediately, and I refuse, or disable me immediately, and I refuse. So like he proposes to her, right? James proposes to Odette, and she's just like, oh my gosh, yes. I was like, yes, girl, you and James. I just need him to have hobbies. Fuck. I mean, him shooting guns is a hobby. Maybe that's like, we never saw him shoot another gun after that, but you know. And so like everybody's chilling with their niggas, right? And to Odette getting ready to take her nursing exam. And this is where we figure out that Odette has low self-esteem when it comes to certain areas of her life. Like, she's like this bad bitch, strong black woman, but a lot of strong black women have faulty foundations, because like we may not totally like ourselves 100%, because a lot of people don't like the strength within us, like the wildness and the freedom. And I'm sure that she's been pushed back a lot, because when James tried to talk to her, she couldn't see for the life of her that this nigga liked her. She just was like, why are you staring at me like I got two heads? If you don't like the way I look, don't look at me and shit. And I was just like, girl, girl, the nigga staring at you like that because he got anxiety and he likes you and he don't know how to talk to you and shit. But she couldn't comprehend that till he said the words, which is valid. Like, I need you to say the words. I'm not an Odette. I'm not gonna say shit to you until you walk up to me and say some shit. I don't care. What do I look like chasing a nigga? Like, no, because I always say there's a difference between pursual and chasing. If you pursue me and I like you, I will pursue you back. If you chasing means you're going after somebody who is not pursuing you back. Why are you chasing somebody they don't like you? That's fucking weird. Pursual is, I'm going after somebody who's also coming back at me. Like, I'm putting it down, they picking it up. I'm putting it down, they picking it up, and then they putting it down and I'm picking it up, and it's a equal, even exchange and shit, you know, like that's what that is. And so I'm not moving until a nigga pursues me. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. I don't care. I'm tired. Spent most of my 20s chasing niggas and being mistreated and shot. I don't have the emotional capacity to shoot my shot anymore. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. So anyway, she got low self-esteem and shit, right? Like, to a certain extent in certain areas, and she's never going to take that nursing exam, at least not anytime soon. 20, 30 years, she still ain't took the nursing exam. And then like Barbara Jean calls, and Barbara Jean's pregnant by the white boy, right? And so they're like, what are you going to do? And then like Clarice suggests her get an abortion, and she's like, I don't know, get an abortion, and then like, he's white and I'm black and people are gonna say blah blah blah, and so like her girls basically say like, we gonna be with you, we down. We 10 toes in this motherfucker. And so whatever you decide, we with you. And I'm just like, they love each other so fucking much. And I just So we go back to the future, right, to 1999, and Odette is having these hot flashes, right? Like, girl, that's what I knew was some bullshit. So I was like, this is what started me on an emotional roller coaster. And so she's at the doctor's office talking about these hot flashes are crazy, and they said menopause was hard, but damn. And then the doctor's like, no, you ain't got menopause, girl. And she was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, looking all sad and shit, talking about you got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and shit and cancer. And she's just like dissociates and shit. Then he's like, do you want to tell your husband? And she's just like, no, I don't want to bother. He can't even stand. Like, she's one of them strong black bitches that don't want to be a bother, but is always want to help other people. She don't want people to help her and shit. And it's like, you got to get in her face and make her accept the help, which is what these motherfuckers did. You gotta make, and I can see that I'm low key like that too, because I don't expect people to help me. And it's something that I'm working on, like asking for help and expecting people to help me and because like a lot of times it doesn't happen, or like it turns out into a weird situation, or it gets used against me or some shit like that. And I just don't be having the energy to be asking for help, and then it turns into some bullshit. But I am constantly a work in progress, and things will get better eventually in the name of Jesus. So like she goes and has a stroll in the park and just like dissociates, and then this motherfucking nigga from Nip Tuck that died from cancer, isn't it just like kismet? Like, is the older version of Ray. He meets her. He's there at the park, and apparently he's a teacher at the, college nearby, right? And I'm just like, this movie came out like 2024. They probably filmed in 2023. He died in 2025. Like, this nigga had cancer when he was filming this. Why is he on my television screen and not taking a nap? No, because I hate that shit. I hate that shit. Like, rest is important. Your body needs rest. Rest helps your body to heal. Like, literally, like when you are stressed out, you are in constant fight, flight, or freeze mode, which is constantly pushing the hormone cortisol, the stress hormone, through your body, which causes inflammation. So if you already got an inflammation disease, it adds extra inflammation. That's why, like, when women are in like toxic relationships and they get cancer, and then the cancer, like the treatment works and the cancer goes away. But if they're in a toxic relationship, constantly being stressed out, the cancer will immediately come back and shit, because you're constantly inflaming your body. Like cancer, a lot of cancers are basically your body not stopping itself from healing. It's a cell that just kept growing inside of you. And if you're constantly inflamed, then yeah, the cell, if you have a disposition for cancer in your DNA, the cell's just going to keep growing. And I hate seeing niggas be doing this, that no sleep niggas. And Lord, don't send me a nigga that don't know how to rest, because I love to rest. I make sure I get enough sleep. I eat enough food. I take my vitamins. I go to the spa. I get massages. I do things to make sure that my body can recharge like the battery that it is, because if I don't have enough mental capacity to actually do the work that I need to do at the heightened level that I need to be at. Like, my battery needs to be at 100% to do the shit that I do. Like, if my battery's not at 100%, the work that I do in providing therapy to people, the art that I create, is not going to be at my best capacity. It's going to be me running on fumes, trying to like help people or do art and shit like that, and it's not gonna be at my best capacity. So when I see shit like this, it's no sleep niggas, and I don't never need to rest, and I use work to cope and shit like that, I just be like, you gonna die early. And I don't want a husband that is gonna sit up here and die early. I want us to live till 150 years old and die together, just like in a Notebook, because we rested and we snacked and we traveled and we spa'd and we relaxed together. And don't put money on a pedestal so high that like you never can reach it, so you always feel like you got to work so hard to reach it. And like there's a level of money that you can make where you can just be comfortable. You just have to be okay with being comfortable instead of like, I need to be a billionaire. Like, you don't need to be a billionaire. You have $20 million in the bank right now. You just need to know how to invest that shit and flip it. If you want to be, if $50 million, you can turn it into $50 million. You don't have to work that hard. You don't. It's disgusting. And seeing this man on my screen, knowing that he was probably dying from cancer, I just was like, I hope he took all the naps in his trailer. Like, he had face and neck cancer and he died because it spread to his lungs and metastasized. Honey, God bless him. Because I could not stand seeing this man on my screen. And it was very short scenes that he was in. It was not no long extended scenes, but it still just felt like, ew, I just need you to lay down. Why aren't you napping? Every time I saw his face, I was just like, why aren't you taking a nap? Why aren't you eating some fruit, some vegetables, you know, some proteins and shit? Why aren't you like in a nice cushiony bed, chilling and relaxing and maxing all cool and shit? Like, why are you on my screen working? You know, because these things take multiple takes. Like, you could have 50 takes of the same scene in one day because the director wants it to be perfect or some stupid shit. That's work. That's exhausting. I just didn't like seeing him on my screen. I did not. So anyways, we go back to the younger version of Barbara Jean, and she's going to sneak off with Ray, the younger version of Ray. They're going to sneak off, but then his brother catches her and tries to like rape her and shit. And like she gets away, and Ray, I don't understand why Ray didn't hear all the fumbling and mumbling and screaming while he was in the house trying to steal his brother's money. I don't understand why it took him so long to come outside and get her. But she like kicks this nigga in the balls and runs, right? And then she runs into Ray. And then she started crying, talking about, we'll never be accepted. We'll never be. And I, like I said in my last video, if you're not prepared for the potential consequences of taking a risk, it is what it is. If you ain't prepared for whatever consequences come from taking a risk, even if that risk means that like there will be good parts to it, like that exceed the parts that are bad for a good portion of the time, then, you know, everybody ain't mentally there. Everybody can't be a martyr. Everybody she was abused and shit. And these people have never went to therapy. They've never worked this trauma. So everything feels like real in the first time, every time they experience a trigger. And so, like, I couldn't be mad at she's a little black girl in 1960 South, and like this white man is acting like it's no big deal because he's not black. So she basically is like, nah, nigga, I can't go with you, and she don't even tell him that she's pregnant, right? So like she goes back to the diner, right? And so like she has an epiphany and decides she's gonna tell him that she's pregnant. She goes downstairs. This nigga's already left. He's just like, well, fuck it then. I don't need to be here. I don't need this bitch. I don't need nothing. I'm going to leave this bitch. And so she didn't even get a chance. And for some reason, Chester the molester comes in the diner at that time when she was about to tell this nigga. And so she ends up telling him that she's pregnant. And it's Ray. He already knows it's Ray's baby. This nigga is 40. He's catching on to shit that most young bitches wouldn't catch on to, right? So, like, he's 40, right? I just want to point that out. I just want to press that in. He's 40, right? And he's just like, it's okay. Like, I could raise your baby. Just be with me. Like, I was just like, ew, disgusting. Like, that's fucking nasty. And like I just feel like niggas will build this fantasy up in their head about bitches, and like especially women that are going through things, they come up like especially the ones that come off really innocent and malleable and shit, and like that shit is just fascinating to them, and they got their little fairy princess that they can just mold and shape into whatever they want, and they just have to take care of her and shit. And I mean, he wasn't mean, like he took care of her, but it was gross. I don't care what you're talking about. Like, I don't give a fuck. It was gross. So she ends up with Chester the molester and marries this because I really just like, did he know her in high school when she was like a minor? No, because usually that's how that story goes. Like they knew each other, and like he knew her in high school when she was like 15 or some shit. Disgusting. I don't care. There's no proof. I don't give a fuck. It probably is in the book. It's probably in the book. Disgusting. I don't care. It's nasty. I wish some 80-year-old decrepit motherfucker was trying to touch me. Like I was like, I would be a sugar mama if all I had to do was see you for like 30 minutes a week and like read you a story from a book and you didn't touch me and you just paid me $10,000 a week for those 30 minutes. What? Like that's the only way I would be a sugar mama. Like, or like you were one of them niggas that their kink was to be like called names and you like while they clean your apartment. I would love that. Like, I would just need that nigga to come around like 1 or 2 times, maybe once a month to just deep clean my shit while all I do is call you names and shit while you doing it. Like, okay, you bitch, you scrub those floors, bitch. You little dick motherfucker, you wash them dishes. They like that. They like that. And sometimes they'll pay you. They'll pay you because you're like a dominatrix and shit. Oh, it's horrible. But it's out there. It is. It is. Like, I just don't touch me. Don't fucking, and don't touch yourself. Be fully clothed. You do that when you get home. And you pay me $5,000 for the pleasure of being in my presence. And cleaning my whole apartment. Yes. Yes, Lord. That would be, that extra income would help so much. No, I would be scared though. Like the anticipation of one day touching me, like this nigga would snap and try to kill me. These niggas can't just keep it like that. They just can't, like, it's like having niggas for like fuck buddies, and then because you're not emotionally attached to them, they get all emotional and shit because it triggers their abandonment issues because they never worked on their abandonment issues and they thought they could be a fuck buddy with a bitch that just wanted to be a fuck buddy but they can't. No, I've heard too many stories like that. Like the woman is just like, I just wanted to be a fuck buddy, but then he started getting all emotional and like didn't want to like schedule any times to fuck, and then started getting all distant, and then he ghosted me and shit. Like those are the best ones. The worst ones are he got emotional and then he like was outside of my house with a boombox crying and shit. Like we were just, that's why it's hard to have fuck buddies with cis heterosexual men. So anyway, she ends up with Chester the molester. Then we go back to the future and Clarice is on the piano. Like she's miserable because she is slowly learning that once again Richmond is cheating on her. She found, like, he went on a business trip. She found some boxers in his suitcase that had lip stains on the crotch and shit. It was all this gross shit, like, cause nigga shit. Like, he had like some sex addiction or some shit. Something's wrong with Richmond. And I'm just like, Clarice, you could have been in a penthouse in the sky, rich as fuck off of your concertos and shit. Like, you could have had everything if you had did all that shit in your 20s, every fucking thing, and it's exhausting. And then whatchamacallit, Barbara Jean is over here just sinking into alcoholism because she done lost her son. So we're finding out that she lost a son, the son that she had with the white dude, and then now she lost her grandfather. I will not feel bad for that. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I will not feel bad for that. Okay, I don't care. It looks fucking disgusting. That man was old enough to be her father. No, that nigga was a grandfather. I don't care what you're talking about. It's gross, ill. And you know when you like get old and your skin gets all saggy and then like your balls get all I don't want to touch it. I don't. I would grow old together with you because now we're both saggy. Now it's like, okay, well, I'm saggy, you saggy. I'm used to you. We've been together all this time, so it doesn't bother me that we're both saggy. And then like Odette starts chemotherapy and shit, and she still ain't told nobody. She ain't told not a damn soul that she started chemotherapy. And we go back to we go back to Barbara Jean, and so we learn how her son died. She basically told her son she could walk over to Richmond's house and hang out with the boys because they were over there while the girls were, playing cards and shit like that at their house. And so he walks over there, and here comes his crappy ass white uncle that he don't know is his uncle, running over black people again, and runs this little baby over, and he's dead. And motherfucking Barbara Jean cracks. She crying over the baby, rubbing his back, telling him to wake up. And Lester is over here talking about, you need to go get that white boy because we know it was him, and da. He never gets arrested for that shit, of course, because it's 1970s now in the South, but they're still like extremely racist and they don't give a fuck. So like that fucks her up. So she loses her son, she loses her grandfather. It's so sad her son dies though. He was such a young little baby, and he looked like he was about 10 years old or some shit. This little baby. It's so sad. God bless, God rest his soul. Hello. There'll be some motherfuckers on here like, he loved her. I don't give a fuck. Every time I think about that shit, I go back to that shit that I had to endure today. And that nigga trying to mack up these 18, 19-year-olds and shit. They were so young. They were just like, I'm a freshman. I'm a sophomore in college. Da, la, la, la. I was just like, oh my gosh. See, this is how the Me Too movement. You're going after these young bitches that don't know nothing. And they don't know that these niggas are crazy and want to get them on a casting couch and rape them and shit. Like... And then they get talked into some like private space with these niggas, and bad things happen because like niggas. And so I just I don't care. He left her. I don't give a fuck. Get off my shit then. That shit was nasty. I had to sit up here and endure watching Sanaa Lathan, who looks all of 35, be touched on by this 90-year-old. I was disgusted. He loved her. It's fucking nasty. It's fucking nasty. So then we go to the scene where Odette is coming back from work, right? So she never became a nurse. She I think she's like one of the cooks in the cafeteria at some school and shit, right? Like she just don't like herself. She don't see. Because that's a lot for another person who doesn't like themselves to hold. Like another person that doesn't like themselves, they're holding everything within you. And if you don't like yourself, that makes it even harder for them. And that's how the resentment grows too. And it's just like, no, we all need to love ourselves before we get together into a situation. If we're already in a situation, then we need to learn how to love ourselves at some point. So anyways, her husband, just stoic, just kind, me cry. Like when Kai Pfeiffer did this, he did yes, he left her down, bitch. I don't care if he was a people pleaser and shit like that, he still loved this bitch down. They could work it. They just need to go to like therapy. Like they each need their own separate therapist, and then they both need to go to couples therapy, right? Anyways, he's sitting in a chair, right? And he's just like, I talked to your coworker and she said she didn't go to work on Tuesday. What's going on? And so she basically tells him she has the cancers. And then she like jokingly is like, I ain't sat on your lap in a long time. And like, that was her like trying to cover up the fact that she was about to have a breakdown. And she sits on his lap and he holds her like a little baby, and she just breaks the fuck down, and it's just holding her. And I was just like, oh my God, where is my James? But he gotta like himself though. Like he can't just not like himself. Like I don't have time for it. Like I will be like, why are you being a bitch? No, I'm not gonna do that. That's mean. If you're genuinely nice and shit, I'm probably gonna encourage you to go to therapy. I'm gonna be like, why don't you have friends? And if you like, you like, why don't you have hobbies? Like, why don't you do things outside of me? Like, why? Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out together, James. I'm gonna work you out. We're gonna get you to where you need to be. Like, what's some things that you like to do? We're gonna find you some hobbies. Oh, nigga, this nigga loved her down, and she was sobbing on his lap, and it was the most beautiful expression of love I've ever seen in my life. It was magical and wonderful, and she deserves it. She is a good woman. She cares about people. She's just a little tough. She's just a little tough. She's just a little tough, and she don't like herself enough, and so like she comes off as harsh sometimes, and it's just like, oh, like it was just so beautiful. She just fell into him and he just held her. And it was so beautiful, nigga. Like, oh God. And he was crying and she was crying. This nigga could act with Kai Pfeiffer. Why is this movie not getting no Oscars? Because it's black women. It's black women. It's all black women. And they don't like us. They don't care about us. They don't see us as human beings. So it's like, y'all need to watch this movie so it can get like views and shit. And so it can be out there, because maybe they'll make the second book into a movie if enough people watch this shit. Because I don't know, maybe not. They hate us. The world hates us. White men, black men, all the men's, white women, other types of women, excuse me, that aren't black. They all hate us. Then we go to like this scene where like, excuse me, they're having another like event for Big Earl's death because his oh God, oh, it's the alcohol and shit got my stomach fucked up. His other wife, his second wife, wants to redo the repast because she feel like them bitches ruined the repast because Barbara Jean's husband died at the repast. Shit, I got the hiccups. Oh, excuse me. And so like they talking about Barbara Jean because she's basically an alcoholic. Like she be carrying around a water bottle with alcohol in it, and so she comes to the repast wobbly, and you can tell that she's like drunk and shit. And they're just looking at her like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you and shit? Like she just. But they don't want to say it out loud. They don't want to say it out loud because they think she's too emotionally fragile and shit. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Your friend drink herself to death. Don't say nothing. So Mimi, that's her name. The second wife has this whole production in the diner and shit, and is like, this is gonna be my redo of the repast, like just narcissistic tendencies and shit, right? And them three over there talking shit, right, to where Mimi can hear. So Mimi walks up to the table and tells what's her name, Celine, Claudine, Catalina. She tells that bitch that her husband cheating on her with some bitch named Cherokee down at the strip club, right? So they go to the strip club to confront this young bitch, right? And so this young bitch walks in, and I felt this in my whole spirit because this is how it should always be. We should always stick together as women because it's the men who are at fault. This young bitch walks in, and Claudia, whatever her name is, Celestine, I don't know. Oh God. She looks at this girl. She's just like a child. She's like so young. And her friends are ready to roll for her and shit and fight this bitch, and she's just like, no. And she gets up and she tells this bitch that you know, first she asks her how long have they been fucking. 4 months. And then she's like, this nigga is a vampire and he is going to suck the light out of your eyes, the joy out of your spirit. He's going to suck the beauty out of your skin until there are nothing left and you're just a husk, and I refuse to let you be in the spot that I'm in. And I was just like, yes, bitch, we need to stick together, girl. I felt that in my soul. That's how we need to be talking to these young hoes that are being taken advantage of by these old niggas that just want young bitches who believe what they saying because they ain't never heard it before. Or if they did hear it before, either they're taking advantage of this nigga for money, or they talking themselves into believing that this is going to be the one. And it's easier to do that when you're young. It's easier to do that when you're young and you have never been to therapy or anything or had any type of help or anything like that. And so this young bitch is standing there crying tears dropping out her eyes. I was like, I felt that in my spirit. I hope she never goes back to that old nigga, because you don't need that, girl. You don't need that. You need to use that stripper money to fund you through college, and you need to get you a good job, and you need to have a good career and live your life and meet some young motherfucker to be with. You don't need this old nigga with his saggy, raggedy balls and grossness and shit. No, nigga, I don't care. I don't care. You don't need this old nigga. And so, like, after the whole, like, the strip club experience, they sitting around drinking and shit on somebody's patio. I don't know whose. And they see Odette's hand from the chemo stuff. And so she finally tells them that she getting chemo and shit. And they rally together. Like, okay, so excuse me, we're going to make a calendar. We're going to switch off who's going to go with you to chemo and all this other stuff. And, like, she's just immediately like, no, you don't need to fuss over me. You don't need to do nothing for me. La 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 la. And they're like, you've been doing shit for us for our whole lives, girl. No, you're gonna accept this. Like, she's the type of bitch, you gotta make her accept the help. You gotta make, cause when you know somebody like that, you know that they'll accept the help if you just make them. You just gotta nudge them a little bit. Be like, no, I don't care what you're talking about. I'll show up at that bitch and without you even knowing and just sit there. I don't care what you're talking about. Cause you know them like that. So, like, it's not a bad thing. And so, like, they start showing up for her chemo and all this other stuff, and they start taking care of her and shit like that. And then Clarice confronts Richmond, and she basically is like, I know who Cherokee is. I know you've been fucked. And the fucked up part is the way Richmond just looks at these niggas are Oscar winning performers. This is real life. They will really act like they didn't do anything. It's all a lie. Like that song, It Wasn't Me. Like, she confronts him and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have been faithful to you. I don't know what you're talking. And she's like, I know who Cherokee is. I know you've been with her for 4 months and la la la. And then she's like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta leave. And then he shows his true colors and is like, well, I'm not moving out. You're gonna have to move out. And she was just like, so this is who you really are? And I'm like, bitch, yes. This is who this nigga has been this whole time. You just didn't want to see those parts. You wanted to see the trash on the ground. The trash potential on the ground. You didn't want to see this nigga is got some shit going on and you don't need to be with him. And you were told over and over and over. And this nigga gonna be like, well, if you were unhappy, why didn't you say anything? And it's like, she was like, you could see it. Like, you could see it on me. You could see I was unhappy. You could see, like, when you care about somebody, you notice every little detail about them. That's why niggas get mad when they start noticing that you're pulling away, or noticing that you can notice that they're doing fuck shit, because they're noticing every little detail about you so they can make sure they can get away with their bullshit. You notice every little thing about them because you love them, and those things are cute. Like, I like the way your eyes turn up when you smile, and I like the way that, you know, you chuckle and shit at stupid shit, and I like how you be concentrating extra hard when you be putting Legos together and shit. Like, that shit is so cute. Like, they're noticing your body language and tone of voice and hobbies and habits and shit so that they can get away with their fuck shit. Like, but it's like the same thing. So yes, he should have been able to tell that the person that he's been with for 20-30 years was unhappy without her having to say a damn thing. And he did know that she was unhappy, because he wouldn't have had to sneak around the way he did, and he wouldn't have off top lied about it the way he did if, you know, he had noticed that she was unhappy. And so anyways, she's like, okay, this is who you been, this is who you is, okay, then I'll move out, Richmond. I was just sitting here like, I know you didn't have a prenup. Y'all married when you was like 21 in the 60s and shit. Like, did they even have prenups back then? 70s, 60s. Did they even have a prenup back then? Did they even? Probably did. I don't know. I don't think. Bitch, half that shit is yours. And then we see this juxtaposition, because in the next scene, James, wonderful, magnificent, no-hobbied James is combing Odette's hair as she sits in her chemo chair. And I was like, I wish a nigga would. I just want a scalp massage. Like, I just want a fucking scalp massage. Oh, you imagine a nigga washing your hair? Like, It's so intimate and so magical. And I was just like, you lucky bitch. No, I would make it a mission to have that nigga learn how to love himself. I just need a nigga that will still love me even if he loved himself. No, because you build a nigga up and then like they be like, I'm a bad bitch, and then they want to leave you for a 20-year-old. See, that's the risk you run when you get with these people pleasing niggas. They'll love you down and shit up until the point where they start to resent you. But if you catch it off top that they're people pleasers and shit, and you try to build them up and shit, they will sometimes realize that they never actually loved you. They love like this image of you that they put up on a pedestal, and like they don't actually like you at all. And then they leave you and shit. Like, I just send me a nigga that loves himself and knows how to take naps and rest and recharge his battery. I just need to knows how to love on himself, loves himself down, and wants and is overjoyed to show and give and take care of me in the way that he takes care of himself. Is just so excited to see me smile. I need that. Because that's how I am. So why would I want something that's not who I am? Like, I don't want no people pleasing ass nigga that's gonna like sneak thiefily, sleeper cellily, start growing to resent me over time, and then disappear on me. Like, you got me for girl. No, that's how snapped happens. That's how bitches end up trying to kill niggas off of snapped and shit, right? So anyway, she talking to James, talking about she wants to die underneath a sycamore tree and shit because she was born on top of a sycamore tree, and when I'm gone and shit and all this stupid shit. And then she has Barbara Jean shave her head bald, and then Clarice wants to shave her head too, but she only gets herself a little pixie cut and shit. I was like, are they all gonna shave their head bald? Like, is that gonna be like? Because I know Sanaa Lathan did it in that Hair movie. She shaved her head bald and shit for that movie. But like, Clarice just got a pixie cut, and Odette shaved her hair bald and realized that she liked it bald. And I think the actress in real life has a bald head. Like, she don't got no hair and shit anyway. So it all worked out. It worked out because she was just like, I'm free now. I don't have to curl or comb or la or relax or nothing. I'm free. I should have did this a long time ago. And I was like, I know that's right, girl. Shit. They coming together. They love each other. They just got some shit going on, but that don't mean they can't be best friends. It just means like each individual person needs to work on their each individual shit. And then we're at the diner again, and here come Barbara Jean, driving up to the diner erratically, and then bumps into the curb, and they go out, and she done peed on herself and shit. So they take her back to the house so she can take a shower and wash her body. And then like Clarice trying to be all like, oh, just go take a nap, just relax, I'll make you something to eat. Like, want to still keep it undercover, but Odette's tired. Odette got the cancer. She over there breathing hard, leaning over the counter. She tired of this bitch. She go turn to this bitch and be like, you're an alcoholic. You could have killed somebody today. You could have killed a kid today. And then like, here come Clarice, not Clarice, Barbara Jean. She want to be like, well, you didn't never take your nursing test and shit. Like, you ain't exempt. You don't like yourself. And then they talking shit, and then they talking shit about Odette, and you stayed with your trifling ass husband, and you should have seen it within 30 seconds he ain't shit. And that, so they're all like having this little tiff. It's a little tiff because basically Odette passes the fuck out from the stress argument, because stress puts you in fight, flight, or freeze, which causes cortisol to run through your body, which causes more inflammation, and she's already inflamed. Come to find out, she had an infection on top of the cancer because the cancer medicine stopped working, so she had to take another cancer medicine, and she had an infection in her body off the top of that. And then she got into this stress argument, and then she went into a coma for like a few days. You're not gonna stress me out. You're not gonna stress me out. You're not gonna stress me out, because stress kills, and I like naps. You're not gonna stress me out. But I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna live as long as I can. I want to see as much as I can, do as much as I can, and experience. But you're not gonna stress me out. Like I don't know what to tell you. Stress kills you. Overworking yourself as a coping skill kills you faster. What is there not to understand there? Like, oh God, send me a restful nigga. Send me a nigga that knows how to just relax, just chill the hell out, just loves to get massages, loves to get, like facials and shit, and just knows how to just lay out in the sun and on the grass and in a tent, and go somewhere away from people and just relax. I just need that, because that's what I be doing, and I just need that. Because no, them niggas that be like work is life or whatever the fuck that shit is, like they hate to see a restful bitch coming their way. They will use that shit against you because they're jealous. They're jealous that they don't have it in them to rest like that. And so they see you taking naps, and so what they start to do is call you lazy and shit. Look at you always napping. Look at you, like, always like going to the spa. And look at, well, you need to put in more work. Like, you're always complaining about money and da da da. And it's like, you bombarding me about the things that I find peace in is not going to encourage me to try harder when it comes to the other things. The first time you do it, I will say something. I will try to, speak to the inner child inside of you that I fell in love with, and hope that you hear me and that you stop. The second time you do it, I'm gone. You're not gonna disturb you're not gonna give me the stress, cancer. You're not gonna disturb my peace. I'll figure it out. Jesus will help me. I'll figure it out, nigga. Like, I don't care. Like, let that be my husband talking about, I have the cancers, but I have to go, working. Nigga, I will tie that motherfucker up in the basement with a bed and, running water and shit. And you're going to take naps, and you get 3 meals a day. And until you figure it out, we'll get some outside time. Nigga, if you want me to make this into a prison, like, you're not going to work. Like, but money, and I'll figure out the money. I'll figure out the fucking money. Lay the fuck down, bitch. Oh, God, don't give me no nigga that ends up with some illness and says he wants to go to work, bitch. Like, I absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck, girl. So you're committing suicide is what you're telling. You're gonna kill yourself. That's what you're telling me. Like, you telling me that you're gonna go to work with stage 4 cancer. You got me fucked up. I don't have it for them niggas. I really don't. Like, that's not strength. Black community has it wrong. It's not strength to not rest. It's not strength to go to work when you're fucking dying. No. And I know we live in a society where we still need to afford health insurance and shit like that. So there are some people that can't help but to go to work, especially if they don't have a good support system around. I'm talking about the ones that don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily have to work this hard, but you're choosing. It's a choice. You got decent health insurance and sick leave and all the shit that you're supposed to have if you end up with some shit like this, and you're still what's going on? Absolutely not. I don't care. Absolutely not. Because I don't live my life that way. And I expect to be taken care of and loved down if some shit God forbid, in the name of Jesus. But if some shit were to happen to me and I'm in a marriage with somebody that's supposed to love me and take care of me, I expect to be loved down like this bitch was loved down. My hair needs to be washed and combed. You will sit by my bedside. This bitch was in a coma, and James was in there sitting by her bedside, stanky. He was stanky. He had been there for days, just sitting there waiting for her to wake up and shit, and I just feel in my spirit that if he loved himself enough and shit like that, on top of that's the icing on the cake, nigga. Like, you love yourself too. Ooh, the way you take care of yourself is sexy, nigga. Like, wow, look at you over there doing your skincare. Look at you over there taking your vitamins. Look at you over there taking naps. Look at you playing with your little model train and your Yu-Gi-Ohs and your I just feel like I'm gonna end up with a nerdy nigga. Cause I'm a nerdy bitch. Like, I need something to talk to you about. Like, look at you over there, like, watching your Naruto's and your Dragon Ball Z's and shit. Like, oh God, look at you. I'm just so happy when you happy, honey. Like, it's so exciting to watch you do shit. While she's in a coma, we find out that after her son died, Barbara Jean went and found this white nigga and was like, I want you to kill your brother and shit. No, first she was like, you know, she told him that he had a son, and he likes birds or some shit too. Like, he's like a bird professional or some shit. So he has a bunch of birds in his apartments. It's like a whole thing, you know. You know, he got hobbies. He's a nigga with hobbies. Still love this bitch down though, but couldn't be with somebody who didn't want to be with him, because that's what niggas that love themselves do. Like, I'm not gonna beg and plead and do all this extra shit when you've told me no more than 3 times, nigga. Like, you know, you can try a couple times and shit. And I might be in a certain headspace where, like, you know, you just gotta like nudge sometimes, because sometimes I'll be in a headspace where I don't know. It's just, but you know, more than 3 times, it's like, oh, this, you know, it's like I like a little. I'm an Aries. I like a little bit of a like. I'm pursuing you a little harder than, you know, yeah. Yes, just like the Korean dramas. Shut up. So, like, she tells this nigga that he had a son, and then this bitch gonna go, I thought that you would just know, like, you know, like you would just know. It would just be in the air and the trees and the aura and the energy around you. You would just know you had a son, and I wouldn't have had to tell you and shit, because I knew. Bitch, you knew you had a son because the baby came out of you. What are you talking about in the air and the trees and the aura and what is you talking? He's not a fucking magician, love. Like, he's not a mind reader, honey. Like, and then she tells him to go kill his brother. Brother ends up dead on the porch. Later we find out that he didn't even kill the brother. Like, the brother's girlfriend killed him because he's just out here pissing everybody off and shit. Then we go back to Odette in the coma, and they're doing spell work over her. They praying to Jesus and shit. That's spell work and shit. And this bitch wakes the fuck up. And I was like, look at witches. Witches. I just need a black version of, what's that movie with Sandra Bullock and whatchamacallit? Practical Magic. I just need a black version of that. I need like not good production, amazing actors. I just need a black version of Practical Magic. And they fall in love with some nice motherfuckers at the end of the movie, and it's beautiful, and they're black too. The people they fall in love with, they're black. No, don't do that. And you know, we got dark skinned black women fall in love with other dark skinned people. Like, yes, Practical Magic. I know there's like these witchcraft shows on like Prime and shit like that, and I watch some of it, and I just need the production to be a little. I lose attention when the production isn't where it needs to be. Like, I understand, like, ain't nobody trying to fund black witch shows. So they're doing the best they can, and the plot is decent, and I just need the production value. Oh God, I sound like an asshole because it's a good show. It's just I start to lose focus when it's not pretty enough. I know, sorry, the angles and the color grading, and it's probably just a me thing. It's a me thing because I want people to watch these shows and enjoy them. So the more the people that watch these shows, then the show can get better production value and shit, and it'll be even more amazing. So I want a black practical magic. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about, what you're saying, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and a black craft. But like you can just make a whole new stories. They don't even got to be like the craft or practical magic, but like these soft witch stories. Like only white women get that. Like only white women get a practical magic. Black women, we're like the hoodoo voodoo bitch that lives in the jungle and eats people. I just want a soft black witch movie. We're falling in love and we got magical powers and practical magic. They were just chilling. They were just doing, they had a little family drama, but it wasn't like they were just living their regular lives as witches. They just happen to be witches, and it's like a rom-com, but they're witches. Like I need that with black women. And so, like they did their prayer and she woke up, and then now she's giving everybody instructions. She's working still from the bed, and I was just like, honey, I need you to rest. Like I think she was ready to die at that moment though, so she wanted to give her last situation. So she told James to go home and take a bath because he stank, and I was just like, period. And then I think she told Clarice, oh, you need to go and like play the piano or whatever the fuck or some shit. I don't know. And then she told Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean is like making amends. So when Odette was in a coma, Barbara Jean decided to go to AA. Like she was that scared her straight enough to go to AA. So she tells Barbara Jean to like go, and like she tells him about the white dude, and he's a professor, and so she's going to go to the college and make amends with him. And then Richmond tries to sneak out with Barbara Jean, and this bitch was like, nah, nigga. And then Richmond's just like, I know I'm a bad person. Like it's like them niggas that be knowing that they're bad people, but like they're not gonna do anything about it. They're just like, I know I'm just a monster. Like that's why you can't lean into shame, especially when you're doing nigga shit and bad shit. Because when you lean into shame, you just use the shame as an excuse to keep doing bad shit. I'm just a monster. I can't stop myself. Like, shut the fuck up. Yes, you can. You just don't want to, because it's like going to the gym and working out. You have to maintain your emotions for the rest of your life and keep growing and evolving. And yeah, the more you're consistent with your positive coping skills, like you will get to a place where a lot of these positive coping skills will become knee-jerk reactions, but it takes a lot of work and consistency to get to that place. And a lot of these motherfuckers that hurt people don't really give a fuck, and they don't want to do all that work. So anyway, she's just like, I don't care about what you talking about, nigga. I need you to take me to the magnolia tree or the sycamore tree so I can die and shit under the tree. Girl, I was sobbing. I was just like, what do you mean she's gonna die? What are you talking about? I was sobbing, just uncontrolled sobbing. It was just insanity, and just, oh God, it was horrible. And I was like, why is this bitch, she's the baddest bitch in the group. Like, why is she dying? Like, she holds the group together. I don't know if Odette and Barbara Jean would be able to stay friends like they supposed to if fucking Odette wasn't there and shit, like they were just starting to heal and stuff. Like maybe if she died later after like Barbara Jean kept going to AA and Clarice like started her career and shit, but like not now, girl. And so she looks like she took her last breath, and girl, I was just like, oh my God, she's dead, she's dead. And then this acorn or whatever the fuck falls out the tree, pine cone, and apparently it's the wrong type of tree. And so she's not dead. And Richmond comes and sits by her, and he's like, maybe you're not supposed to die yet. Maybe God wants to keep you here. And it's like, a broken clock is right, 2 times a day. He's still a piece of shit. Anyways, and then she looks at him and she goes, I think that there is a good man in there, Richmond. And he's like, yeah. You really do? Really? Like a fucking child. Yeah, you just have to and the thing is, she's not saying that there's a good man for him to go back to his wife. You just need to be a good man, nigga. Like, you just need to do that for your fucking self, my nigga. And she should be saying that to James too. Like, James, you need to find a hobby and love yourself more. And I shouldn't be your only focus. That's and No, because when you got, especially when you got like out loud, more in your face type woman who's being loved down, and like, a lot of times they've never experienced that, so like they think, oh, this is what a good love feels like. Okay, like he does everything I tell him to and shit, and like all this other stuff and blah blah blah, blah. And so like this is what good, we have a good relationship. He loves me, not realizing that the nigga's supposed to have hobbies and friends. And it's supposed to be doing nice things for himself, and like, things outside of you, so that he can be we want a well-rounded nigga like that also loves you down. Like they don't realize that sometimes, and so when a nigga up and just be mad all of a sudden about some stupid shit, or distant emotionally randomly and shit, or just wants to leave the fucking relationship out the clear blue fucking sky, a lot of times the type of women that thought they was getting some good love and shit is like confused and shit, and it's like, no girl, like this nigga should have communicated to you, but he has anxiety, he could barely look at you and shit when you first met. Like he's a people pleaser, love. You married a people pleaser. Like he can't fully love you like he's supposed to because he doesn't love himself. And that shit just build up over time in the back of his mind until eventually like a tidal wave, an avalanche, like in Inside Out 2, all them negative feelings that he pushed down came and tumbled down all over him, and he decided to make an impulsive decision instead of like, saying, I've been hurting for a long time and I've been pushing stuff down for a long time, so I need to go get the help. But this is like 1999. Therapy is still not mainstream or trending, and it's a white man's game, and so we're going to give slight leeway because he's not an abusive person, he's not fucked up, because older generation don't want to go to therapy like that, and especially when it's not being pushed on them, and you don't have YouTube. It's 1999. There's no YouTube, there's no TikTok, there's no Google. There might have been Google search. There's none of the stuff that we have readily on our phones today. There's none of it. So like all you have is word of mouth and the news and newspapers. And just random internet sites, if you were lucky enough to afford a computer in your house, like random internet sites that people made in their home. But you don't have like a bombardment like we do now. Like I can drive down the street and there's a billboard with like, therapy on it and shit. So anyway, she don't die, and Richmond takes her back to the hospital because she's like, yeah, James gonna be upset, so take me back to the hospital. So she knows when he's upset, but I don't think she comprehends that, like, because he doesn't necessarily communicate his upsetness, like that shit is building up and building up and building up because he has no release for it, really. No like positive release. Like you can like go shoot your guns and shit, but you still need to talk about and cry about this shit. Journal about this shit, put it into words, express yourself so that you can hear it out loud and know like what's going on, and it's not just in the back of your mind and you're not paying attention to it. So anyways, whatchamacallit, what's her name, Norma Jean. Barbara Jean goes to meet the white dude. Every time I see him on the screen, I'm like, why aren't you taking a nap? I just want him to take a nap. I just want him to lay down with some blankets and some soup and, just take some naps. Just rest. Be at peace. Like, just because when you have like chronic illnesses like that, just because your body feels good one day doesn't mean that you have the amount of energy that it takes to do some shit. It might just mean that instead of sleeping all day and eating snacks in the bed, I can go sit on the porch. I can do a full day's work and 50 takes while standing for however many hours. Absolutely not. No, it does not mean that, love. It means I can go from laying in the bed today to actually taking my own shower and maybe sitting on the porch, and maybe I can even take a drive to the beach and sit out in the sun for a little bit. That's the energy that you actually have, but you're not clocking it because you're not self-aware. You're not connected to your body. You're not mindful. You want to be with young bitches so that you can ignore being present in yourself, so you can pretend that you're a young nigga. Ignore your present physical, mental, and emotional self. Like, because if you were a bitch that was your age, she would also be aware of these things because she's going through those things too. It was gross watching that old nigga touch her. I just, I know he's like a famous actor and he's been in stuff and he's just acting and it's not real. It's just the optics of it all grosses me the fuck out. Every time he touched her, I felt nauseated. She visits this white dude and she does her amends step of, her AA, and she basically finds out that he didn't shoot this nigga, his girlfriend shot him, and then they end up getting back together and kissing each other on the mouth and all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then we go to Richmond. He is basically like, he got Clarice a little spot in the show or some shit so she can do her concert shit, so he feels like he's doing something, and then he like apologizes and shit, and then they end up fucking, right? I love this fucking shit, nigga. Like, she played this nigga to a T. And he was like, the next day he gets up and he's like, oh yeah, so like I apologized and we fucked and I got your little spot in the show. I threw some breadcrumbs at your face. You gotta move back in the house, right? And she's just looking at him like, why would I move back in the house? He was like, because we fucked. And she was like, so like that's not gonna make up for 30 years of you cheating on me and my vagina itching and having probably diseases that I don't even know about this is like the HIV stuff was like, they didn't have the medicine they had today, nigga. She could have, I saw this thing where this bitch had dormant HIV for 10 years so she had no symptoms or nothing. And then finally, when she had symptoms, it had turned into like AIDS and shit. And so now she had AIDS. And so like you could just have some shit like that for 10 whole years and not have any side effects. And so you don't even know you got it. You don't even know you have it. So come to find out, she basically fucked him to take advantage of him to get some dick, because she wasn't going back to the house. And he was mad about it. He was like, so you used me? Like, she started laughing. She laughed in his motherfucking face. And I loved it. It was magical. I felt it in my spirit. My soul was alight with lights. And I prayed that she didn't have any STDs and she just got to use him and get away scot-free like she deserves. This is a magical bitch. And so we're back at the diner. And here comes Odette with her little teeny weeny afro, looking healthier and alive with James. And they hold hands because they love each other. James just needs hobbies, that's all. And like, we're happier, we're freer in the world. Like, Clarice decides that she's not going to take his little funky ass breadcrumb show, and that she actually is going to go to New York and do concertos and concerts and whatever the fuck. And I was like, yes, Clarice, yes, bitch. This movie was good, y'all. I was just, girl, it was a roller coaster. I was just all over the place, and this should have got multiple Oscars, like multiple Oscars, because I was just like, oh god, white dude is there from Nip Tuck, and I was just like, why aren't you taking a nap? I don't care. Every time I saw his face, it made me upset. No, we should not be putting ourselves through fucking bullshit when we got these serious illnesses and shit. Like, we just need to lay down and shit. Maybe that we think these entertainment motherfuckers be making money and shit, when really they be screwing these motherfuckers over and shit. Maybe he felt like he had to work to maintain his health insurance or some shit, because I just feel like, why would you torture yourself like that? Maybe he felt like he had to work to like maintain his health insurance. I don't know. I just want people to be able to rest. I hate this fucking world that does not allow people to rest when they're going through shit, when they're not going through shit, just to recharge to the full capacity that their individual bodies need. We live in a world that does not allow that. Like, it's some bullshit. Like, there's some countries that have 4-day work weeks and siestas and shit. This ain't that country. These motherfuckers want to work us to death, you know? Like, and I just don't. Why we gotta live like this? Why we gotta live in this world where they want to kill us? Like, oh God. The audacity, the pure, unadulterated audacity of this motherfucking place, nigga. I'm tired. I'm tired of niggas. I'm tired of white folks. I'm tired of the racism and the classism and the colorisms and the homophobiaisms and the transphobiaisms. And like, why can't niggas just leave people alone? If it ain't for you, it ain't for you, and it's nothing wrong. Like, why can't you just let people live in peace? Like, because you're unhappy. You're unhappy. And you don't think it's fair that these people are happy. And so you want to punish them and project onto them all of your shit. Like, you want to project onto them all of your shit so you don't have to deal with it. But that doesn't last that long. Like, when you project on other people, like, you're just waiting for the next thing to trigger you. It only lasts when you know how to like work through the triggers and ride the wave and get to the other side. So then your brain starts to learn how to work through the trigger instead of trying to like get rid of it. Because a lot of times you can't get rid of the trigger. Sometimes like there's nothing you can do. Like, you got to endure some bullshit. And so like you have to learn how to work through it instead of like get rid of it completely. Because you might not be able to in that moment. Or you might have to endure for a few hours or some stupid shit, you know? Or it might just be something as easy as I'm hungry and so I'm going to get food. But what if you're hungry and you're in traffic and you have to endure for a little bit? Do you call your kid and cuss them out randomly about nothing? Because you're hangry and you don't know how to deal with it? Or do you just like put on some music and vibe out until you get home, even though your stomach hurts? Take deep breaths, count to 10, you know, do all the calming things to help put you in an environment of healing and ease you through it until you get home and you get you something to eat. I'd like that option better because that teaches my brain how to ease me through shit. So I'm stronger for that instead of like I need to immediately do something about this and get rid of it. And it doesn't last. It doesn't last. Like, you literally would have to be on the phone the whole time with your kid, cussing them out until you get home, which is still affecting your nervous system because you're mad. And so you're still putting stress hormones into your body. So it's actually making all of that inflammation in your stomach from hunger worse. So it's not really doing, but when I take deep breaths and count to 10, it's helping ease that. So I don't have as much cortisol in my system. And so I can be a little bit calmer. And, you know, like, it takes the edge off until I can get to something that will make me feel better, you know, like that type of shit. Niggas don't like to do that. They say, I will ignore, I will escape, I will not face. And I don't have it. I don't have that energy for whatever the fuck that is, because that kills you and shit eventually. And because it just keeps building up cortisol in your system and you die. Like, I don't. And then there's this after credits where like Minnie, the second wife to Big Earl, so she made this prediction. She wanted to make his death about her. That's what it was. She made this prediction where she said that she saw her spirit guide told her that she was going to die in the new year and shit. And so she gets up on the roof in the new year and it's like, come for me, take me and shit. And basically falls off the roof onto Lil Earl. And then she's like, my prediction came true, and everybody's just looking at her like she's fucking stupid. And they're like, you said you were gonna die, and she was just like, I had a near-death experience, so I did. Bitch, just not dying. You didn't even like pass out and see a lighter note. Okay, whatever. Okay, just let that bitch have that. Let her have it. It's none of my business. And Lil Earl was the only one sent, and she think this nigga hates her and shit. I don't think he hates her. I think that he sees her as a second mother for whatever, because she raised him partially. And he was the only one standing on the roof trying to catch her. And I was just like, she really think this little nigga does not like her. Everybody else was standing back. They was just waiting for her to fall and die. Like, this nigga was the only one standing on the roof trying to catch this bitch as she fell. And I was just like, you really do not see the love you have in your life, and that's sad and miserable. No, and then like the name of the name of the movie, The Supremes. I was not thinking about the group. I was thinking about the Supreme Witches from American Horror Story, and like that song by whatchamacallit, I'm the Supreme, I'm the Supreme. what is her name? Princess Nokia. Oh, I was like, these bitches are some witches. They're witches. They have magical powers, and that's what I'm going to believe in my spirit. One was born from a witch tree. The other was born from a siren. And one was born from, like, I don't know, what's a mythical creature that is witchy that wears a mask all the time? Like, I don't know, some shit like that. No, because one was born from a stripper. One was born from a witch tree. And one was born from a bitch that like people please and wore masks all the time and stuff. These women are witches. They're witches. I don't. This is gonna be my new practical magic. Like, it is. This is practical. They done lift things with their mind or anything, or like turn some shit into like some other shit. But they're magical bitches. Like, this is the new practical magic. They won't give us one that actually. So this is gonna be my black practical magic. It is. I don't care what the fuck you're talking about. No. So now I'm gonna go read the books. Y'all should read the books. Watch the movies. Maybe they'll give us another, situation like this. If enough people watch it, like more people watch it, y'all should watch it. Supremes had Earl's All You Can Eat. Watch it. It's good. It's good for you. And I don't know what else to talk about. Like that's it. Like, watch the movie. And you got so like and then like I think it's interesting that in the younger group they got the witch from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the little black girl. And then in the older group they got the warlock witch bitch from Lovecraft Country. They're witches. These are witches. No, that's my final say on it. These are witches. These are the brujerías, the voodoo priests, whatever the fuck. These are witches. This is my practical magic. I just wish they had magical powers. That would have been the icing on the motherfucking cake, nigga. But then, like, if you have magical powers, all of us should be rich. Like, they live in nice houses. They're probably upper middle class. All of us should be millionaires. Yes, God. Girl, if I had magic, like real magic, like I lift shit with my mind and shit, you know how much money I would have right now. You know how much security and protection financially I would have, right? Fucking girl. I just want the money. Because when I have the money, all I want to do is just travel and eat and sleep and, not do much. And, I'll still see clients. I might see less clients, though, just because, like, I want more free days during the week. It'll be exclusive. Like, that's fucked up. No, I still see like my same like clients that from all walks of life. I just will have less days that I work during the week, so I can do more fun, exciting adventure type things and take pictures and have a good time. Like, buy little trinkets and shit. Like, that's all. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, that's my dream. Like, and have a husband and kids, and they go on adventures and shit with me, like Indiana Jones and shit. Like, why can't I have it all? Like, I don't understand. I don't even want like a big business, or I just want a lot of money. so I can go on adventures and buy trinkets and eat good food and have a husband and kids, and we all do that together, and rest a lot, and see clients occasionally, like help people, because I'm tired. I wish that for you all. I wish that for you all. Like, who wouldn't just want to have a lot of money to just live and be free in the fucking world and shit, nigga? Like, I wish it for you in the name of Jesus. I say you all. Oh, that's selfish. The fuck? Why would I want all that just for myself? Like, that's fucked up. And so these bitches are some witches. We just didn't get to see their magical powers. We saw their emotional magic, but like we didn't get to see like their magic where they like blowing shit up with their minds and shit, and like fire starter. What? Oh, I just want a black practical magic. In the name of God, I mean, there are books, like I can read book, but like to have a movie, like it was black women like being goofy, like, and I like how in this movie it literally reminds me of Fried Green Tomatoes and shit like that. Like, it's just black women from all walks of life being silly and goofy in the South. And I love that. I loved it. It wasn't like, oh, we're all like stupid or some shit, or we're all ghetto or some shit, or we're all high fancy class intellectual bougie bitches. It was every motherfucker from all walks of life talking every which way, just being a community of people. Like, I loved it. It was magical and it was glorious. And watch the movie. Watch it. Take your time to absorb the magnificence that is this bitch. This was a magnificent piece of art. Like, oh, I was moved. I was touched. I just felt all of my black womanness. This cleansed my soul after that nasty ass motherfucking nigga touched my thigh with his nasty lizard skin. And you did. I feel washed in light and glory. I feel brand new, bitch. That's what art's supposed to do. It's supposed to cleanse you. Like, like motherfuckers be talking about, oh, well, you have to do art for the people and shit like that. I do art for me, and the people can interpret it the way they want to. If it inspires you, that's magical. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have no expectation for other people's art to be from my eyes. I see art as vulnerable expressions from individuals that they want to show to the world in their own way. It can be political. It can be not political and shit, whatever the fuck. But it's their interpretation of life and the world. And they are being vulnerable enough to show that to the world and allow us to interpret it in our own ways. And, but it's still theirs. It's still their expression, and you'll never take it from them. You'll never copy it 100%. Because you didn't live the experiences that these individuals lived in order to create the art that they created in that particular way. You didn't live their lives, so you can't create that art in the same exact way that they did. So it's not for you, it's for them, so that they can interpret their own world around them and the life that they lived in their own ways. And then people come together and collaborate and combine all of the worlds that they've lived into one thing. But it's still a combination of all of those people's worlds and shit. It's still theirs. Because you didn't you as a separate individual did not live the lives that these people lived in order to create the art that they created. You can, like, be connected to it and be like, oh, I lived something similar to that, but it's still not your life that you lived. It's still a separate person's life that they lived, and they poured that into their art. And so it's first and foremost for the artist. And then secondly, it's for the people viewing the art, because then you take that and then you interpret it based off your own lived experiences. and it may inspire you to create something based off your own lived experiences yourself. Because this person, like Basquiat, like I've stopped buying like Basquiat items with his art on it. I think I just have like this one fanny pack that I got off of like Amazon a while ago, because I like wear fanny packs to the airport and stuff to keep all like my important shit in. And so I need to see it. If I don't see it, that means it's not there. I'm not gonna lose my passport and all of my other shit. So like but I never used it because it felt weird to. This nigga was out here living in the streets grimy and shit, and white people were like, you're literally taking advantage of this disenfranchised youth and his naivete of the world and shit. Like, if you watch documentaries, like, you see it in his eyes. It's just like this youthful naivete of how evil motherfuckers are. And now people are putting his shit on fanny packs and shit, and I just feel like that's not... You put a piece of your soul into your art, and so that's why you have to like revere it, because you are purchasing a piece of somebody's soul, because your lived experience is a part of your soul. The emotions and shit that you put into your art come from your lived experiences. There's a piece of you in that shit, in every piece of art, and so it's for the artist first. And so when I watch shit like this, I wonder, like, what are the lived experiences of the person that wrote this book to make them write a book like this? That's what I'm curious about. To make them write 2 books like this. Is this like representations of them, or their mothers, or their aunts, or the people that they grew up with, and things like that? Like, what type of people did you grow up with to make you want to write some... Like, these are the questions that I have when I see art. Like that artist that whoever did the screen painting with the bald nigga on the bridge, and he's like, and stuff like that. Like, what was you going through, honey? What was you going through in your life? That are you screaming on the inside? Like, what are you? That's wild. Like, I want to know the story. Like, I'm interested. And so, art's for the artists, and then we just get lucky enough to partake in it and let it inspire us and shit like that, and it can change the world, because all that inspiration running around will inspire someone to create some other new shit, and then they will inspire someone to create some other new shit. It's when you start to copy each other. It's like them animes that came out, that are these like long sentence animes, like, I'm a boy that fell into a pond and turned into an NPC character in another world, and I have to cook to live, or some stupid shit. Like, it was cool when it was like 1 or 2 of them and shit, but like now it's like every other anime is one of them long sentence NPC, I fell into another world, ikases, however the fuck you say it. Like, now it's like, okay, like, there's nothing new, there's nothing different. And then when they do make some different shit, they gotta make like 100 of those before we get any more different shit. This shit is fucking boring and shit, and I'm tired. Like, I just want people to dig deep into their souls and come up with some real shit from their own lived experiences, because you're not digging deep enough. You're not digging deep enough because you want to make money, and you making stupid shit. So this shit right here, nigga, like, this is that cryptochronic cuddleite, nigga. Like, this is some shit here. I tell you what, these bitches did a good job. The writers, the directors, the photographers, the costumers, the makeups, all of the motherfuckers, they all did a good motherfucking job. So bravo, snip, snip, snap, bitch. Oh gosh, people watch like, she's crazy, like something's, yep, am. That's why I always say I need to be loved down, nigga, because I got some shit going on, and like, I need you to be in it with me, like, because if I even slightly see that you're not in it with me, I will crash the fuck. was like, you gotta want it. Like, you got to want it. Like, if you don't want it, girl, cause I be in it. I be wanting it. And and that's it. Like, I don't need nothing else. Like, you fit that slot. Like, I don't even consider anything else. Like, I'm content. Cause I've learned how to be content. And so, you be in it, nigga. So no, like, I can't. So when I saw that nigga James doing all that, at first I was like, this nigga's amazing. Look at him. But then I just started feeling like he doesn't have any other personality. Like, and then I was like, you don't like Legos, James? Like, you can make some shit with some Legos. You don't like tinker on your car? Like, some niggas like to do that. They like to tinker on their cars and shit. Like, God knows, like, you don't play like video games or draw. Like, you just a robot and shit. You just like a sex doll or oh God, that's horrible. No, it's not like that. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was just missing something. It was just missing something. I need you to love yourself. I need you to love yourself. Like, I can't. That's just I can tell when you don't love yourself. And it doesn't have to be 100%. Like Odette's character, she didn't love herself 100%, but she loved herself enough to make sure she got a nigga that took care of her and made sure that she was happy. She just didn't notice that, like, he wasn't necessarily like close to 100% happy. Because he seemed happy when he was doing nice stuff for her. So it's hard to just be like, oh, and she just, oh, you doing nice shit for me. Why would I question you? Why would I question that? Like, no, you gotta, like, I would notice. Because just like I noticed with James, I would notice and I would be like, why are you always up under me? Like, don't get me wrong, I like to be up in a nigga's skin, honey, but those are moments. And then there are moments where I need to be by myself for like a couple hours, or like, we're not talking in extremes, okay? Like, no, because niggas hear shit like that and be like, but you said you like being by yourself, not for a week, nigga. Like, what is you talking about? Like, you're crazy. You got some shit going on. Like, you really thought I would just want to be by myself for a motherfucking week? Like, unless I'm on vacation or some shit, but I'm still gonna call you and talk to you on the phone. Like, you didn't even call me, you didn't text me, you just didn't miss me at all. Like, you can just go a whole week without seeing or hearing. That's concerning to me. That's not concerning to you? Okay, we're not on the same page if that's not concerning to you, sir. I don't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm like, a couple hours or some shit, or I go to the movies by myself and then come back and shit, or like I go sit at the park for like a few hours or some shit. Like, I went to the beach with this little pop-up tent and I was there from like 11 to 5, and then like come back and shit. Like, what did you like, if I so choose occasionally, like, I don't, and so it's just, I need to be loved down. I got too much shit going on to not be loved for it all, and I need you to set boundaries and shit. I need you to be able to be like, nah, like, chill out. Occasionally, not to the point where I'm being constantly criticized. Like, see, niggas will take that shit and be like, you say you wanted me to set boundaries, I didn't tell you to call me a nigger, bitch. I didn't tell you to call me that. I didn't tell you to keep talking about the same shit over and over again and shit. Like, I didn't tell you to keep like nitpicking every little motherfucking thing I do, nigga. Like, nobody said all of that. I said, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it and shit. Like, you over here every fucking 5 seconds, I can't barely make a step forward without you. Why are you walking like that, nigga? If you don't get out of my face. See, because niggas act like they're stupid. That weaponized ignorant shit, and I don't fucking play that. As soon as you got one time And if I have to talk about that shit more than once, nigga, you're trying to manipulate me, and I can't be in a situation where I'm being manipulated. I have to go. He be left down, just like Odette, but like nigga, he'll love himself first. So this is my review. This is probably like 2 hours. I don't fucking know. Watch this movie and comment down below and like and share and subscribe and all that shit. And later days.